Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Bri and this is Feminine Friday, where we talk about the most important messages for the feminine each week. I hope you guys have all had an awesome week and are ready for an awesome weekend. I personally have been working really hard this week, and for the weekend I kind of just want to chill out and relax and get a little bit of perspective. So I hope you guys have something similar in mind or planned for yourself. Okay, so again, if you're new, welcome. Make sure before you go that you are subscribed, that you give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the individual by sign feminine energy readings. I actually really love them. And, you know, to be totally frank and upfront with you guys, being a reader on YouTube, you know, is super challenging, and it's super, you know, there's just so many energies that you're working with and dealing with, and you know, it's just really nice to switch things up and try new things, and I'm in love with these readings. So I hope you guys are in love with them as much as I am. I hope you guys have been enjoying the other content that has been on my channel. Obviously, if you've been with me for a long time, you see the channel growing and evolving, and I am working on something super special for you guys behind the scenes, working really hard to bring you guys some really good stuff. So definitely make sure, like I said, that you are subscribed, you got notifications, that you know what's going on, and also, you know, follow me over on Instagram at Bri Rising. It's going to be changing soon, but make sure that you're following me there so you know what is going on, okay? Also, I want to know what you guys want, what you guys like, so make sure you leave a comment down below telling me that, okay? Thank you so much to everyone who has responded to the tarot course survey. It has been really awesome, and if you still want to put some feedback in on that, definitely click the link down below, give me your thoughts, and let me know what you guys want to see, okay? So that's it. Enough talking, enough rambling. Let's get into the reading for the week here for Friday. All right, so most important messages for the feminine. So in this reading, we're going to be looking at, you know, a complete rundown of where the feminine is at, headspace, heart space, challenges, actions to take. And then in the extended, we're going to look at the masculine's response to that, okay? How they feel, what they're thinking, what they're going through, and we'll get some messages from the romance angels. So we've already had the moon pop out here as the overall energy for the feminine. So I feel a couple of different things from this. I feel that, you know, there may be a lot of deep emotions coming up to the surface to be processed, to be understood, or to be let go of. And I'll tell you guys something super funny. I've been on this spring cleaning kick and yesterday I just kind of went through my closet, which my closet isn't really like that dirty or that messy, but you know, there were just a lot of old things in there, and I found this box where I've been keeping like old stuff from high school, like so long ago, you know, and was just like looking over it, and it was just so cool to like see things that I've written, you know, when I was really young, and like my thought process. But then it also at the same time made me think about the way I was thinking at that time and the way I was processing the world at that time. And it just, I had to stop and pause, because it was like, oh my God, I've changed and I've grown so much from them. I've learned so much from that time. And ultimately I ended up throwing a lot of that stuff away, because it was like, okay, like that was a phase, that was a period of my life, and it just doesn't resonate anymore, you know, it just doesn't serve any purpose. Like that was great, it was wonderful, but then it's like you have to kind of just like let that go. And even though like that might sound silly, your physical environment really does affect you, you know. So if you have a lot of old things hanging around, you've just got a lot of old stuff, lying around, you may not realize how much that actually really does impact you. And for me personally, I'm just like a very minimalistic person. As you can kind of see in my setup, I just like it very minimal, very clean, because that's the way that I like my mind. So like I said, I had thrown that stuff away because it's like, this is just, it's my past. It was who I used to be. It was the way I used to think. It was a time frame of my life. And now that time frame's over. Like, thanks for the memories, thanks for the lessons, but I'm so much more open and to the new. So it was really cool to kind of like go back in time for a little bit and again, like read the way that I thought at that time, but it's like, wow, cool. It made me really look at, you know, a lot of the issues that I had when I was a teenager, and those issues do carry into your adulthood. But then eventually you kind of have to like say, okay, like I'm no longer that person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your teenage person, even though, you know, your childhood, your toddler years, your adolescent years, those are the years where you're most permeable. So they really do matter. So really do pay attention to that or think about that. But then also realize that you, like, look at, honestly, are you repeating the same patterns that you were doing then? Because I've talked about this. Cycles repeat. They really do. You'll have the same situation show up in a different, you know, wrapped up in a different scenario. So, you know, just be aware of that, and know that if things are coming up from the past, if they are coming up to the surface, it's because you're ready to deal with them. And they're not meant for you to get stuck. It's meant for you to move forward. I have to sneeze. Hold on. Okay, it's not going to come. But that is what I'm feeling there, is that you may have a lot of subconscious things coming up, or old memories coming up, or you're starting to see patterns and cycles. But this is also a very beautiful time because it's an opportunity for you to change the circumstances. It's an opportunity for you to do things differently, to do it, you know, the way that you want to do it. Maybe you weren't conscious, obviously, at the time you weren't conscious of certain things. You weren't as aware, you weren't as awake. And now that you are, it's like now you can really do things the way you want to do it. Okay? All right, so let's look at the headspace. Five of Coins. So, with that being said, as you clear out the past, you may feel a lot of space. And that could freak you out, but you have to understand that that space is what allows new things to come in. And I plan on doing like a summer like reading for each of the signs, because I really do feel like this summer is going to be so transformative. So if you would want to see like a summer forecast for your signs, let me know down below. But I definitely feel that there's space being created right now, because this summer there's going to be so many new opportunities and so many new things coming in that you have to have room for them. And if you're holding on to the past, or you have like past attachments, there's not gonna be any space. So definitely don't underestimate the power of space, and really enjoy to like love your space. I love my space. I love space. I love distance. I do. Probably too much, to be honest. But that is where the universe can come in and bless you, is when you have open hands, when you have an open heart, when you have an open mind. That's when things are able to come in. So you might feel that openness now, and that's, just remember, it's not a bad thing at all, and there's nothing wrong with you or anything like that. Okay? So let's look at the heart space. I feel like there's a lot of cards that want to come out for the heart space. The Empress. Yeah. Yeah, like totally, totally, totally embracing yourself where you are. Like wherever you are, whatever your situation is, whatever is going on, just embrace it. And what I feel with this Empress here, like the feeling I'm getting, or like the saying that's coming to mind is like, take your house and make it a home. So, like, what I feel with the Empress is it's like wherever she is, she's gonna make the best out of that situation. And that's what I'm feeling from this card is like, okay, if this is what I have, how can I optimize it and make it the most beautiful? Like, that's the feeling I'm getting from this is like beautification. And maybe this is probably because we have the sun in Taurus right now, and the ruler of Taurus is Venus, which is all about like love and money and beauty. And I feel that, you know, right now you may be wanting to just like make everything as nice as you possibly can. And again, that ties into the environment that I was talking about. Like, I think like if your outer environment is reflective of the way that you feel on the inside, then it just makes you feel better. And this is something that I have like only learned in my recent years, because when I was younger, I didn't really care about my environment. Like, I just didn't really like, I was like, whatever, like, I don't care if my room's a mess. But now I'm like a stickler about it, because I really do feel like it does so much for you. And I don't know what I was watching. If I can find it, the link to it down below. It was some type of like inspirational speech or motivation. And the woman said, you know, it does you no good to like, you know, do your laundry, just put it on your bed, and then you go to sleep, you're pushing it over. It just doesn't really add any value. And I was just like, yeah, you know, that's so true. So that's what I'm getting from the Empress is like, wanting to really put an emphasis on the outer world, because, you know, you may have been putting a lot of emphasis on the inner world, which is wonderful, which is, I think, the most important part, right? Like, it's most important, like the meat of the coconut, or the inside of the coconut, that's the most important part, not the outside. I feel like that's where a lot of the collective has been working on the meat, like working on the inside. But now it's time to really take that and translate it to the outside. And that's what I feel is happening in this season. And I think we're going to see some really beautiful things from a lot of people, which is super exciting. So let's look at, you know, how you may be feeling about your connection right now. Okay. The High Priestess. Yeah. I love that the High Priestess and the Empress have come out together, because I really feel like the High Priestess is kind of like, or I'm sorry, the Empress is kind of like the like outer goddess, and I feel like the High Priestess is like the inner goddess. And I think when it comes to your connection, if you're resonating with this, you know, it's like right now, you're just doing what you feel led and guided to do. And you trust that your higher self, the universe, God, is literally leading you and guiding you to exactly where you need to be. And it doesn't come in the outside world. You know, like the road to a good relationship is on the inside. When two people are deeply seeking for themselves on the inside, then you can find that depth on the outside. But it really takes someone who's committed to going on the inside, and that's where a lot of you guys may be at. You may be like, not that you don't care about that person, not that you don't love them or whatever, it's just that you know that you have to be better. and I've been talking a lot about this lately, is like thinking more for the long term, like making long term decisions and long term commitments. And when you do that, like when you're really committed to yourself for the long term, you're going to see that reflected back out at you. You're going to see that long-term commitment reflected at you in your outer world. So, you may really be doing a lot of like deep inner like goddess work and connection with yourself, and that's exactly where you need to be. And that's where the flip happens, is when you really start working and cultivating yourself and your vision and your future. That's where things really change. And if you're like, okay, I want to do that, like that's what I need to do, I need to make that flip, I need to make that switch, check the description box down below, look at where it says Patreon, click on that, and I have created 10 self-coaching modules that will really help you to make that flip and make that switch. And those are things that I actually have done or currently do in order to develop that like inner relationship and inner connection with myself. So if you're interested, definitely check that out down below. It is a game changer. It will really change everything for you. But that's where it is. It's like you're just kind of sitting on your throne. Like I don't know what she's sitting on here, but it doesn't look very comfortable. But that's kind of where things are at. It's just like sitting where you need to be, wherever that is. Again, this is like happening wherever you are. I saw a quote this week, and it really just like, I don't know, it just like hit me in my soul. And it was like, I've heard this before, but it just super resonated this week. And it said, life is not about, I can't remember. It's like, life is not about waiting for the rain to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. And that's kind of like what I feel, is that you have to learn how to be extremely successful and happy and thriving in all scenarios, in all situations. And I don't know exactly the verse of the Bible, but, like, I think it was Paul who said, like, I'm, happy with a lot or with a little, and, I'm thriving in all situations. And it's like, yeah, it's not, he didn't say thriving, that's my words, but, it's like, yeah, you have to like really like do the best with what you have, because truthfully and honestly, what you have right now is exactly what you need. Okay. So it's just about, what are you going to make with what you have? So let's look at the challenge. The Emperor. So we have the Emperor and the Empress on the table on your side, which is very beautiful. So the thing here is, the challenge is really bringing that masculine into balance with this Empress and High Priestess energy. So, having the structures in place to get done what you need to get done. Having the systems in place, taking the initiative, taking the drive. I think that's like the biggest thing that is missing. We talk a lot about the feminine energy and the feminine this, and this is what the feminine does. But ultimately, the goal is to have a balanced inner feminine and inner masculine, where each side is, perfectly getting what it needs. And for a lot of you, you may have been like on really heavily on one side, and then you may have gone really heavily on another side. Now it's really time to bring the two together. And again, when you reach that point, you definitely will see that reflected back at you in your outer environment. So that's going to be the challenge for the week, is really finding that nice balance where each side of you is getting what it needs. Okay, so let's look at the action step here and the outcome. Three of Swords, and then the outcome. Okay, the Tower. Wow. Bottom of the deck here, we've got the Two of Wands. So the biggest thing that I feel is that, and I've been talking about this recently a lot, is like your long-term. What's your long-term plan? What's your long-term vision? And in the modules, I share with you guys my long-term plan and my long-term vision and like my goals. So if you're interested in that, definitely go and check that out. I talk about that like in the first 1 to 3 modules. I talk about my personal goal and my vision and my outlook. And we have the sun underneath this. It's like really thinking about, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What's going to make you happy? Like, if separate from anyone else, like, what do you want to do? That's so important. You have to have a vision. You have to have a goal. You have to have an outlook for your life. One that's going to make you happy. Not anyone else. It's got to be for you. That's the biggest thing, is you can't make choices and decisions based on someone else. You really have to make your decisions for you, because what you want to do, there will be all of the resources and all of the people available to you where you want to go. And they may not be the people who you think they're going to be or the people who you want them to be, but they will be the people who you need them to be. And that's something that you have to really understand. You have to really start wanting what is good for you and not necessarily what you think is good for you. And when you do that, when you really align with your path, you're going to feel so much happier. You're going to feel, so much more energized and a lot. It's just not going to be as like stressful. Whenever I start like trying to make plans that are going to accommodate like another person, it's stressful because it's not for me. It's not intended for me. But when I start making plans that really align with what I want, well, then it's more fun. I'm more excited. I'm more passionate, you see? So that's the thing, is you have to really make decisions and plans that really work well for you. So with that being said, we have the Three of Swords and the action here, which is that, a lot of you may have to step back or walk away from things that don't align with you, that aren't the path that you want to go down, that don't really, maybe like vibe with you. And it can be hard to do this, I think, for women, because women don't want to upset anything. They don't want to upset the balance. And it's like, no, you have to do what is best for you. Okay. And this is in all areas of life. Obviously, the swords is definitely associated a lot with like relationships. And for some of you, you may have to say like, listen, love ya, but I've got to go and do this right now. And here's another key thing, another gem, is that you've got to be willing to, lose stuff to get what you want to get. You can't have everything you have right now and get to where you want to go. Like, that's just not the way it works. Like, you're gonna have to at some point leave something behind. There's gonna be a sacrifice. And yeah, like when you make that sacrifice, you make that choice, like it might feel like this, for the moment, but then you have to understand why you're doing it. A lot of you, there may be towers going on, or like you're anticipating towers falling down in your life, or structures or systems in your life falling down. But the biggest breakthroughs come after breakdowns. So definitely don't get too like hung up on that there. Remain focused on where it is you want to go and what it is that you want to do. Okay? All right, so that is the message for Feminine Friday. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that you guys have found lots of value in this. Again, if you're trying to really make that switch into this like Empress, High Priestess energy, definitely check out Rising Community. Also within the community, you can get access to some of my recordings that I've done on like feminine energy trainings. They are available in there, so check that out. And if you would like to see the masculine's response to this and how the masculine's energy ties into this, then I invite you to join me into the extended. So I hope you guys again have enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye.